Oh, sod this. I can't wait. All right. Come on, wake up, wake up. There we go. Hey. Okay, so laying the ground rules. This is going to be low energy. I was not expecting to stream, but I'm trying to ride the... hello?
Greater than 3.
I'm not trying to ride the Floric Dragon, nor am I trying to ride the Lord Cupson, but thank you to both of yous for a resub of Prime for 7 months, and Lord Cupson subscribing at tier 1 for 47 months on a 46 streak. Jesus Christ. Oh, God. I can't... In fact, like Jesus, I can't get rid of you. You just keep rising again. So, as I said, this is going to be low energy because I'm trying to ride the spontaneity urges occasionally of, you know what? I should stream. The problem is they keep coming at like past 7 rather than around 5 when I'd prefer to start so that I can end and still have an evening, but we'll figure it out. I couldn't summon enough energy to be funny, so I thought I'd pick a game that would supplement this by providing some funny for me. This is a game about a man named Stanley. Yeah, that's basically it. I don't know how this is going to go because last time I touched Stanley Parable, it went a bit strange, I seem to recall. I got a bucket and then I fell through the world and I don't know. That's it. The bucket didn't come with me.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
I know that much.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
I still remember the controls.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go anywhere except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Off to a flying start. Yes. Also, it is the spooky month, so you know what's more horrific than a life of office work, right?
All of
Ah! Ah! Why did you Why did you wake up TTS Inch? Why? Thank you, Meg Skolmon, for the sub of Prime at 30 months on a 7-month streak. But also, good God, what just happened?
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be?
For the uninitiated, I'm just making sure you know what kind of game we're playing.
Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet? Ah, then in that case we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer?
I doubt it, you're not Larian.
I would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones.
Tell you what, I've got an option.
That tornado's carrying a sub!
What did I do? I pressed a button. I'm sorry. I pressed a button. Oh, God. I'm going to close the door again.
But
Why? What happened? What did I do? Okay. So apparently at that exact moment is when Lily Aberdensook decided to gift 10 gifted subs of Dragon Reaper 00, Ripvan 22, The Next Decade, Judah 993, Mia Leah, J.R. Bookhooks, Atata 22 Gangsta, The Raiden Crack, Derek Inside, and Unk Bread. And also, separately, Lord Cupson at the same moment gifted a Cupson special to Vasilia 96, Paladin X Pudu, Amnesia Gu, Euro 727, TV Big Time, but big in all capitals because it's big, you see. Axel Wook, Boss 11111111, Amashwa 18, Sylvina Sill, and Hugo 1410. Shall we try and play the game now? What did I just?
co-workers
I couldn't write that kind of timing if I
Stanley
tried.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I close everything down at the exact moment as not one but two 10 specials
No
appear.
matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
I mean, that's just my old job. No matter how hard you look, you will never find a trace of your co-workers because somebody's kid got, like, slightly disciplined at school, so they are given carte blanche to just completely drop everything and drive off. And that's it. Their work days have been about half an hour long. Because they don't come back.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Damn it. Wish I could help with the trade. No, nope, up, Canthy. No, I'm pausing the game. You stop that. Stop saying I wish I could help with the train, but my finances are not giving that these days. Stop it. There is no obligation. There is none. 9! Zip, zilch, nada. Stop it. Everybody is already being extremely kind and generous with their time. Fuck me, that one actually got me. Okay, so behind curtain, normally they appear on the left, and then like 30 seconds later, the sound effect plays. Not on that one. Oh no, that one just came straight through. Fucking hell. Lord Cupson, thank you for another Cupson special. To Yono Puedo Calvo 1 through 3, Kleppen 45, Dragon, Blue Dragon Rook, probably Andy, possibly Andy, Duono Barauna, sorry, Leshu Gas, oh no, poor Leshu, he's got gas, Fib Panda, so assumably a truthful other kind of bear of some form, Big C 95, Ariklo 0, Othman 00700. There we go. Okay, now if people could please stop throwing money at poor Stanley. I mean, he does have a job, people.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Tips for not getting hired.
Wave
Talk
of
less.
Disbelief. Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track. There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow. Just an coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I'm trying to... Can I juke it? reject your reality. I substitute my own. No, okay, can't do it with that one.
But Stanley
Oh,
just
it was that door.
couldn't do it.
Fuck.
He
They
considered
were
the
ready for me.
possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy...
Have you been
why
enjoying
would
Metaphor
it take
ReFantazio? I haven't played it yet.
all
I'm waiting to
because he
stream it.
believed everyone
The
would
demo,
be
that is.
punished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all.
That make me
None of it made any logical
crazy.
sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar.
Hold
Were they
on.
simply repeating? No, Stanley.
We're gonna
said
break the
himself,
cycle.
This is all too strange. This can't be real.
Eventually.
And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield.
Hold
and
on.
it too
You didn't put me all the way down.
was so much
Game.
fun.
Game, you didn't
And
put me all the way
Stanley
down.
marveled
Oh, there we
that
go.
It's still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt,
I've
that
had
this
dreams
was,
like
in
this and
fact,
it
a
sucks.
dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back.
No, I've not had
Fresh air
narrated
of
dreams,
the world
Blaine.
outside
I've
was
been the narrator in other people's dreams, which is
Let me
weird.
wake up, he thought to himself.
But no, I've had dreams
With
where
this
I
dream,
conclude that I'm
I
never
wish
getting
it
out of
could be
them.
over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
I'm gonna press a button now. Nobody do anything weird. Okay. Right.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
So we do know that
Stanley
there are
decided to go
some
to the meeting room.
ones
Perhaps
which
he
are
had
ported
simply
straight
missed
over
the
from the
memo.
old game. I'm aware of that. I know there are also ones that are new to this one, and I don't remember how I got to them, so we're going to walk off the path.
Two open doors. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Oh, hold on.
Damn right.
Cheers, Ed.
Damn right we want to admire it. Cheers, Sir
Yes,
Jamie.
Truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
And apparently climbing the vending machine. Somehow.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
I'm confused. I could bet money on you having played this game already. Yes, but then this has also gone through multiple iterations. I've played it as Over Englishman back when it was the Stanley Parable. I'm playing the Ultra Deluxe version as Ed, but I've also already played the Ultra Deluxe version as Ed. But at the same time, I didn't find much last time. Billy Smith, new content door will open. That's how new stuff starts. That doesn't really help. I appreciate the effort, Billy, but you've basically told me there's a door. And there's a lot of doors in this place, just in general.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Absolutely.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
I love that quote. I love that quote so fucking much. Leopard with a higher education. Which door is your favorite? Clearly the broom closet door. Literally has a sign called new content, not joking. I'm sure you're not, especially in this game. But even where that door is has like so many variations it could even be, because it could be down the left path, it could be down the right path, it could be down the other path of the right path, the other path of the left path.
When Stanley came
even finding the new content door is going to be a bit of a journey for me, at least.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling away.
Maybe it's in the boss's office this time.
Stanley decided to go. Oh no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to come into a staircase. Stanley walked.
You're just going to come into a staircase? That came off a bit wrong.
I get the feeling money's for stealing, but now yours of course. So that's a lovely purse.
Sorry, was that Extreme Bathrooms? Oh, yes, of course. Lovely copy of Extreme Bathrooms. The beige pages. Beautiful. Always good. Oh, yes, the slightly unsettling panda art. I forgot about that one. In a very long time. Oh.
We making mad dollar, bro.
Someone decided to name their account J. Jonah Jameson. Stanley, I wanted pictures of Spider-Man on my desk yesterday. Stanley! Stanley! This is a story about a man named Peter. Peter Parker's job was at the Daily Bugle, where he would take pictures on a camera. Orders would come in, saying how many pictures to take, what to take them of, always Spider-Man. Peter was happy, but the Marvel writers couldn't let that stand.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked,
It's just before seeing the 2 doors you can choose. Oh, hang on a minute. Apparently I've missed it. Thank you, Billy. Thank you, Billy. Also, there's only one significant Billy I can really think of, and it's the... I was gonna say it's Wow Krendor's Orc, but, I'm not...
Damn right.
Yeah, no, indeed. I looked at it out of the corner of my eye, and I didn't see it that it. I didn't see that it had the 3 on it still. Grim, God damn it, Grim! Thank you sincerely, Grim, for subscribing at tier 3 for 26 months. What the fuck, man? Doesn't the new content door appear after a certain ending? Oh, I just can't win now. No matter what I do, I just can't fucking win. Oh, you've walked past the door. It's not there. Goes back, the door's not there. No, the door appears after a certain ending. So we're back where... God damn it.
go up to his boss's office.
Blockaded my broom closet.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Even when I'm looking for the content, I can't sodding find it. It appears after a certain ending, and I don't know which one that is.
Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean?
Just gonna press random
Stanley
buttons.
wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings.
Talion,
desperate for
we making
clues to
mad
his
dollar,
situation.
bro.
But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be?
Dark
In
Rays.
fact, this keypad guarded the terrible
I'm so
secret
glad that you
that
like
lay
Freedom
buried
Force. I
below
can
its
tell.
feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret pin number.
I'll. Yep.
2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly. have
I
known
swear it used to include a.
by simply
I swear it used to
pushing
include a
random
7 in
buttons
the
on
old
the
code.
keypad.
But
Stanley
yes.
happened to input the correct code by
Really quickly, Dark Rays submitting 420 of sandwiches. You will have your tipped pictures last week! Ha 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 ha! So says the Time Master. I'm so happy to have introduced all of you to the goof troop that is Freedom Force and Time Master. I should go back to play that some more, actually. I had considered that one before this, but I wasn't certain I had the energy for it. Maybe we'll do a couple... I'll tell you what, we'll find the new content door,
into the building,
and then
Stanley
I'll...
realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a
And then I'll
stirring
move it over.
emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this?
Dark Rays, how did you know it was me? Because I am all-seeing.
This question would not go unanswered for long.
And also, for some unfathomable reason, it sometimes says the names you guys give and sometimes says your username. So in your case, I know the donation said it has Time Master contributed 420. On my side, it says Dark Rays. I don't know who J. Jonah Jameson was because it says J. Jonah Jameson on all sides. So sometimes it says the names you give and sometimes it doesn't. There's no lure.
Through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
It's kind of all over the place because we've had cosplay squad donations before, and normally they all come through, but like 1 in 10 doesn't.
Back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Oh, am I now? I feel I went a bit far.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and
Ow.
closer to his
Megash, come on, don't punch me.
it reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story.
Stanley can't see much of
Trapped
anything.
forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Damn it, Lord Cubson with the Discord fake out. I just checked my phone.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Oh. Oh, wait, I was looking down the whole Oh. Sorry, I thought I was looking forwards at nothing. Oh. Right.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Well, personally, I seem to recall I'm looking for a bucket.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same.
I'm stealing that quote. I need that
Do
quote.
you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Next decade. Fucking hell! I was looking through point redeems, accidentally clicked the AMP icon. Suddenly there's music blaring.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one
Right, so I
another?
died, that was once.
No.
Pressed that button, that was
not.
twice.
Sometimes
The
these
prevailing
things
theory
cannot
is that
be
we
seen.
need 3 endings.
But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can
Stanley
stop
is
the
about to
program
be
before
purified.
They both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do,
I'm ending this as I
choose it.
began,
Don't
staring
let
at the
time
floor.
choose for you. Don't let
I can't remember how to get to the climbing ending. But he wants to show you something beautiful, he says. Ah, what one is
When
that?
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors.
Ah, wait, what one is that? Fuck. I think it's this way. I think you have to wander way off and then go back to him showing you where to go.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible even to consider.
Deja room.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Because that one goes to where he gets confused, I want to say. Come on. Breaks it off.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley.
See, this is the phone call one. This isn't the...
Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Now this is the... Oh, if... Yeah.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you...
Okay. Okay. This one is intensely sad, and I'm sorry, but this is at least a third one. I can't remember how to get to the color one.
Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh. Did you actually...
No, that redeem was too well.
They want to commit their life to you. I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you
That was
what's
too
really
well
going on
timed.
here.
What the fuck? There isn't...
Sorry, but you're in my story now.
There is another one in that room, Blaine, but it was also a very, very, very long one. Jump down onto the path below. No, that leads to the weird game ending where you like, oh, is this what you wanted to see? Unplayed textures, blah, blah, blah.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Good morning, employee 427. Press U on your keypad.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
47. Press F.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
H to watch TV.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
And then the guy of this game, the one who speaks to you, was the speaker of Biomutant. I don't think he is. I mean, because this is Kevon Brighting. I know that. I've worked with him. So, when it comes to, like... hang on a minute. Biomutant narrator. Yeah, that's David Shaw Parker. That's a different dude.
So,
similar idea, though.
Further, he imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door.
No, I didn't work with the maker of this game. That's a different person entirely. Kevon Brighting.
Almost too wonderful to behold.
The narrator guy. No one remembers what I used him for, though.
World, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls.
Yes, Canthy.
Down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions, and down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Press Y to tell your kids a story.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Fuck, I remember thinking like this.
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets. The more he forgets which life is the real one.
Megascomon, I have friends who want me to stream Undertale, but I feel like if I do, the fandom is going to rip me apart for how I play. Not very likely, because the fandom of Undertale basically exclusively moved off to either making their own AU games and deciding those are canon over Toby Fox, or moved on to Deltarune. Undertale is very forgotten these days. You should be safe. Safer than I was, anyway. No one's going to be celebrating your dad getting cancer, that's for sure.
Himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
N for no. N.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Mirrors. They tend to help.
I suppose I can't.
Unless Stanley's a
Not in the way
vampire.
I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time.
I hate
And I
days.
tried again. And Stanley
Please
pushed a button.
die.
And I tried again.
Oh,
And
jeez.
Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
I love how we can click the phone and it makes a typing noise, but we click the keyboard and nothing. Sharpen my pencil. Keep it very sharp.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
It's a fair point. No! No, it's just any 3 endings.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
Means it's scary. We're not doing it. Okay. Because I need to... what I will do... okay. Well, this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to acquire the damn bucket. Because I was robbed of the bucket the first time around. I will acquire the bucket. And then we might switch over to Freedom Force or something. Because... why not? Let's just indulge the whims. And the scatterbrainedness. And the Lucian in the corner jumping up going, he's got ADHD! I might, yeah,
Hello,
possibly
and
Fantasio.
Thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Maybe
As
not
you
all in
may
one
know,
night, though.
The Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers.
This is a
After
bucket.
receiving
Dear
critical and
God.
commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over.
We keep finding these bloody railroad segments of telling us everything that's going on. This was in American Arcadia,
New
too.
adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
Okay. Damn it. Can I get back on the lift? No.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure. Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it. I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Gimme the content, Stanley.
Stanley, I made you some content. Daddy made you your favorite open wide. Here comes the content.
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle?
Just jump in the shark there.
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right? Goodness, another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting
Oh
new
god, yeah,
content?
because
If this is
I
new
remember when I
content,
came through here last
I'd
time,
just
there
read
was
you
the
whole
horrible...
dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell,
There was the horrible review
trillion.
swamp.
You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new
Don't
content.
care if don't
And
believe what we say,
wait,
but you do have a
there's
good
more.
singing voice.
Nope, don't believe it.
Yes, I knew there had to be something else.
Positive
Let's
emotion,
see.
cannot process.
I'm ready for whatever it is. That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no
chair.
respect for their
Aha!
fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other
Sit
than
down
to
for the
make
lecture.
an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore."
Oh, you want to talk about that, narrator? Let's talk about my epic duel against Dragon Leg Proxy Dodge.
What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable.
You do that.
It's my fault.
Good luck
Stanley.
finding Twitter.
Too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
Isn't there one achievement in the original Stanley Parable of don't play the game for 5 years? I'm pretty sure it's called Go Outside, which was why I named this stream I Went Outside. Also, Dark Race, you're never going to live that down. No! I'm never going to forgive you! I will never forgive the developer of a game where dragon is in the fucking title of the thing you're adapting, and you fucked up the dragon fight to the point it didn't have a fucking name! That just says, literally no one tested this. Ah! But it's alright, it's the next new standard.
Stanley,
Oh.
come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
Hang on a minute. Oh, yeah, right. Okay, I remember this now. Coffee nut. No, I do not want to imagine how that would feel. That seems like it'd be pretty warm.
Okay, you remember how
I would not
cheap
wish to
and
nut coffee.
unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be. Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little
Yes, the review swamp.
look. I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
Apologies
You
for
see,
speeding by this,
doesn't
but
the
I
Memory
seem to
Zone
recall this
remind
leads
you
to a
of how
bucket.
wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was solid with... And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote,
That's Commander James
"Where
Stephanie
so
Sterling
many
to you.
games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art. Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing.
That line hits a bit different after having played Persona 3.
It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Wasn't even an hour.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games, and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It
I
just
remember
needed to
buying
be
packs
left
like this.
alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
I remember buying packs of boring carpet textures. All that jazz. Although for me it was always sound,
These were simpler times, Stanley.
being a sound freak.
But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the
Oh,
memory
here we
from
go.
before. What's this? What's down here?
I remember this part nearly made me
Oh,
fucking
God, no.
cry.
Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they? Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them. Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking.
Yeah, this is still making me twitch a bit.
To be honest, I have always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did, but maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
This ties in so well with the beginner's guide. I fucking loved the beginner's guide. And this whole shimbag that they added to Stanley Parable all ties in so well with it.
What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
And this doesn't end well.
And here it is. Go ahead and give... Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45... Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're... Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us. But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed.
The true victim is neither the narrator nor Stanley, it's the poor plant. It is! The poor little plant's just dead.
The end is never the end, 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 is...
Yep, everything just falls apart. This... I know I am rushing it a little bit because I've already seen this version, but fuck, going through here the first time, this was soul-crushing. To just watch a game I played to death when it first came through just wither. And just let itself die. And now we're in Portal 2. And now we're not. Now we're in the end of Portal 2. Does the button recharge still? I think the button might be dead. I know I walked out there last time, but... Huh.
I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame in yours.
And now it's Journey. Wandering in Sand Simulator. Welcome to Dune. Actually, yeah, no, I'll take that. This is Dune. And it is Dune, narrator of the original movie, not Dune. Actually, I think I offended the original narrator. Whoops. Bollocks! The bucket wasn't even that way. Fuck.
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to
Ah!
himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned?
Oh.
He made a note to be more careful.
Wait,
with
no.
time
Hey, yep.
From now on. Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Yeah, I almost forgot about the bucket as well, Dark Rays. This whole thing, I'm still on a journey to just get back the bucket I got the first feck in time and then forgot about. Or rather, sort of lost.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
This was it! This was it!
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel.
Now, I would hold up. I really sincerely hope when they joke Stanley Parable 2, they mean an actual sequel, and not whatever the fuck Pathologic 2 is, and God help us, definitely not whatever the fuck Pathologic 3 is, because now seems to be the third game that's still the first game.
Entirely new
What?
experience, built
The second
from
game
ground
didn't
up
even get
with
finished as far as I know.
possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans
Where's
have
that damn
truly
bucket?
been asking for.
There's a bucket around here somewhere.
I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for
Hold on, shut up, narrator. There's a
If I
bucket
can
somewhere.
actually organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy... Here we are.
Reassurance bucket. Aha!
Try out some of the new features. A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of
Where is it? No,
for those who played it. Well,
no.
I am happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket,
There's no bucket!
a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will
you
feel
added-
perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try. Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of
Yes, I feel
crushing
reassured.
despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of...
So how is this going? So
I
how
think
is
that
this
just
going?
holding it
I
has
finally
made you
reacquired the bucket
slightly
after so
more
long.
effective as a person.
After we lost it the first time.
Buckets seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more awaits you in the Stanley Parable 2.
It's been so long. So long since the first stream where I accidentally
Does anyone
deleted the
give out
bucket from
awards
existence.
for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
Ah, excite. There's excitement this way.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But, oh goodness, Stanley, this is fairly awkward. I hate to do this, but before you leave, you really should go to the collectibles exhibit. You see, there is a surprise I was going to spring on you later, and it involves the collectibles. And I really do hate to break the illusion, but it's important that you go see the collectibles, okay?
Righto.
All right, I'll get out of your hair now.
Thank you. At least you told me. Not everyone does.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your
Oh, they blocked it off. Oh, cheeky buggers.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Pull the lever, receive your achiever.
Now here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes, you see, okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in a sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Oh, I did not find that the first time around. Fuck. That one has teeth. Ouch. Okay.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Merch. We haven't seen the merch. No? Okay. Oh, that really is just going nowhere. Okay.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person.
I do want to be validated. Doesn't have to be about a game, just validated.
Wonderful. Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature.
I'd rather not roleplay as Jim. The last time I roleplayed as Jim, I sort of became the big bad.
Just play along.
Please don't do that.
You'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep
I
breath.
sort of became the
Clear your
Doomslayer.
mind, forget whoever you are and simply become a person named Jim.
I really... that's a bad move, narrator.
Yourself living as Jim.
It doesn't end well.
Waking as Jim. Falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim. Seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim.
I've already
and as
done
Jim, watching
that.
your dreams crumble into dust. Do you feel it deeply? Are you really, truly Jim right now?
Oh.
If so, then please step
Golly
forward. And press
Bones,
the
thank you very much for the validation. Your avatar is very pretty. That's very sweet of you, thank you. What is Jim's favorite sandwich recipe? It's... unfortunately, I can actually canonly answer that for you. And it's not pleasant. I may or may not have ambushed one of the villains of the campaign in which my first ever TTRPG campaign, for the context of this joke, I played a character called Jim and went from being the comedy luchador monk with tearaway pants to basically leaving the party to become a BBEG. And I can definitely tell you, yeah, what his favorite sandwich recipe was. It was after I surprised one of the villains, serving him one of his right-hand man's hands between two slices of bread. I told him it was a hand sandwich.
Jim. Yes, you see? What a thrill, what a rush. That was you. The button described you. Do it again, do it again.
Don't make me invoke Jim. He's bad.
Jim. It hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the gym button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
I took a break from the gym long ago. Never to return. Waiter, more gym stories, please. I'm invested now.
Dog. Bride Lord Cupson dropping fat stacks, yo.
Okay, so for Corley Bones' benefit, the short version of why Jim became a problem in his universe is effectively it was a homebrew setting, homebrew campaign style, and also homebrew mechanics, because the DM wanted to try and make his own game slowly but we were over the course of testing it. All I would say is, if to anyone ever coming up with this idea for themselves, never, ever introduce a mechanic wherein your players roll to see if their stats increase at the end of a session. Because you might accidentally play with Ed, and he might accidentally keep rolling a 6 most sessions and increasing his stats way ahead of everyone else. And then I end up walking around with the genuine canon ability of strength, because it always ended on strength, that when we'd cleared out a bandit camp and everybody was taking home like a souvenir of like, oh, I'm going to take one of these rifles, I'm going to take this, and I just looked at one of the fighter jets in their hangar bay and went, yeah, all right, ripped a missile off the side of it and just walked back to the ship carrying a missile bigger than I was, which I later ended up throwing at a space octopus. Yeah, exactly, Coley Bones.
People named Jim to play the
Oh, whoops.
Epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes.
Sorry,
yes,
I wandered into the epilogue by
them-
mistake.
Well, we'll figure that out later.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually, Lordrin. Given that I did eventually build myself a suit of armor involving like Master Shredder arm blades and all kinds of shit, yeah, I ended up pretty much becoming a space marine. I went from accidentally, having never watched Critical Role, playing basically Grog Strongjaw, to basically playing an off-the-wall Primarch. Oh, he's happy. He's happy, though. Bless little Stanley. Nice. Although still my absolute favorite use of my ludicrous strength ended up being, I was best friends with a sniper. And for those of you who ever watched my XCOM series back in the day, that would be Gillian, son of Gilthunder. And there was a sniping duel between him up in one tower, some guy up in another tower, just sniping away at one another. And both of them kept missing, and it was very embarrassing for all involved that neither of them could hit the other one. Until these towers are quite close to one another, put this in mind. And the rest of the party kind of just gathered at the bottom, looking up at the towers, hearing all this gunfire. Then we hear Gillian crying. And so, because I assessed that the other tower, didn't know there was a person in it, but the other tower had somehow made my best friend cry, he just stuck his arm through the base of it, grabbed one of the supports, and pulled. And I just dropped a tower on a man. Just for making my friend cry, I dropped a tower on a man. I don't know where I'm going. Please help. I'm stuck. I'm stuck between some rather twisted TTRPG. Ah, the Infinity Hole, of course. I was about to say I've fallen in a hole of talking about TTRPGs. It's perfect. Let's go down the Infinity Hole. Which I believe is where I sent Bird Cthulhu.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
I thought that was coming down to crush me. Jesus Christ. With whom of the 4 great gods would Jim Marine work with? The problem is, he was already terrifying when he was just a gorilla in tearaway pants. If you actually made him a space marine, I don't know where that ends. And, I mean, normally I'd say Korn. I'm not sure he'd be happy with serving, though. Bearing in mind that the actual canon version ended up concluding the gods because being a monk, the gods he'd been raised to believe in this whole time were powerless and useless, and clearly the galaxy only respected strength. So that is what he would be. It was not a good time.
You see, isn't it wonderful?
You made Barbarian Senator. Yes.
Now then, since you
I made Barbarian Senator Armstrong in Doomslayer armor. Yes.
To pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward. Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top.
Fuck that, no.
Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
Oh, I'm on the spectrum, just not the sooner or later one.
Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling.
Who threw a memo down here?
No person actually wants to fall infinitely. I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated
Just the
there.
two of us.
Some things we didn't mean.
We can make
Why
it
don't
if we
just put
try.
all this
Just
behind
the
us and
two
agree
of
to
us.
Just call the hole mostly infinite. If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the...
I did earlier, you wouldn't let me.
I'll just be up here when you're ready.
Oh, now you'll let me. Oh, thank you so much. I will also just really quickly... No, I've forgotten what I was going to say. No! No! I had a thing I was going to say. Fuck! No, I've lost it.
Great. Now, I'm very excited to show... Oh, for heaven... You see, I was right. The problem is you.
That's what I was going to say. I would happily go in the finity hole.
Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite
It's
hole.
just very good fun to hit the back wall of the hole.
Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You
Just plunge yourself into the finity hole.
Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above.
The end is never the end, but then there was another scientist and the tornado is carrying a car, but my source is that I made it the fuck up, Stanley, but that's rad.
Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this
Can't resist a good
starts
hole.
thing where- Wow. Okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to...
I'll get to that storyline in a second, next decade, sorry.
The hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability and marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter. Well,
Right.
there it is.
Oh.
The shame of
Hold
my
on.
lie has come to haunt me. Not only is the hole not infinite, how is this still appealing to you?
because I need an excuse to pause and read Cupson's donation, which I completely missed. I'm so sorry. I think I was absorbed by the gym. I got into the gym zone about 10 minutes ago, which is apparently when this landed. I'm so fucking sorry. Breaking through the ceiling with a crowbar. Oi, you drop this! Drops a gold bar dangerously close to your feet and then disappears without a trace.
I know you're obsessed with holes, but at
Yeah, I am.
depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do. And
Deja vu, I've been in this hole before. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Oh.
Is the teleport button not working?
No!
You sure?
I'm stuck in the hole!
Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again.
No!
Still
It's in the
nothing.
hole.
Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for.
I
It's a
have my head
win
out.
for everyone. You get to be with the hole. I get to do literally anything else.
No!
Take care, Stanley.
No!
I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
I like going in and out the hole. I don't want to live in it, though. No! No! There's noises.
Your descension has begun. Thank you for working with the Home Safety Hotline team. Those who dwell below the soil are pleased with your actions.
I only came here for a bucket. Please. F to change your perspective. I don't want to. Oh! Oh! This feels like a cutscene from Fahrenheit, or Indigo Prophecy if you're weird. You need to change your perception. Oh, yes. I live the life of a lonely man who's plagued by a brilliant mind. An imbecile for a right hand and a prison I'm inside. Oh, hey, it's Lunacid.
Like, you're already dead, dude.
My head's stronger.
Stanley? 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 Oh, good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't.
I love that that's the one I ended on.
Because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodlepip.
I just love that this. I knew that's where they're going to put the loading screen. You could just hear the startup sound effect again. Oh, I haven't.
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
I haven't escaped. Can I exit now then? Check the hole. Good point. God, I'm such a basic bitch. There's me just trying to follow the directions like some type of normal dweeb. What even is a dweeb? Do we know? I know it's something that people used to insult people with in the 80s, the good old days, but I don't actually know what it is. I mean, at some point, I used to call people dorks, and then someone pointed out that dork apparently means whale penis. Did we check the achievement machine? We did earlier. Maybe it's different now. Nope, still broken. The next generation of achievement machines over there. The new standard, if you will. Watch out for its passive ability. Percentage, 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 empty. Why do I get the idea that Stanley works in the Aperture Science HR department? Huh.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know.
You bastard, you made me jump.
How exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2. I mean, there's potential here, right? It's
was the quiet
Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2.
Hey,
Who am I
phrasing!
kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I I suppose it could, but it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2." Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Oh.
Ah. Okay, I wasn't expecting that to work. Please tell no, please tell me the bucket isn't gone. No, 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 no. I thought it was a gag. Um, hold on. Okay, hold on. We're going to wait a minute. And then when it ticks to 8:50, I'm going to click. Hold on. Hold. Hold fast. Hold. I want the time to be as right as possible. Hold. Die. No, no dying. Hold. Hold. My eyes are starting to dry staring at the clock.
Some.
Lord Copson, you made me jump. You made me jump and I pressed the button. Don't thank me for this. I got it wrong. Because of that man there. And his 50 bits. Thank you for appreciating me, but this doesn't deserve it. It's a minute out now and it's going to stay that way. It was 5 seconds out. Oh, Merc, no. And it'll be 5 seconds out for the rest of time. Oh, hold on. Hold on. I might not have busted it entirely. Good night, Floric Dragon. Sleep well. Well, clearly now we need to set our favorite time. Okay, now how do I do this? How do I do this? Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to set it to my favorite joke time. No, hang on a minute. No, 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 There we go. My favorite joke time. That hell is an office permanently stuck at 4:59. It is good to collect data, you're right. More sliders. I mean, it could be worse. It could be... Oh, what was it we were playing? Was it No, Catherine, of course. Any game's option screen is better than Catherine's, where you are just deciding the language and nothing else. That is it's an option menu.
All Mind thanks you for giving gameplay data
This
to
is
process.
the story of a man named Stanley.
Okay.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee
Doesn't
number
seem much
427's
different.
Job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Okay.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened.
Oh, no, it does say Stanley
Something that
Parable
would
too.
forever
Good.
change Stanley.
Good.
Something he would never quite forget.
It is slightly different.
He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Goodbye to me tonight. There would still be music left to write.
Ah! The bucket!
Stanley picked up the bucket.
Ah. I know where I need to go. Before I end the stream off and go on to Freedom Force, I know exactly where I need to go.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh, no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends? That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life
all my
is
friendships,
so
mate.
banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it.
I don't need to. I've already beaten it to the punch.
For its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them.
No. The broom closet is completely right.
Share your journal entries detailing
The bucket and I's relationship is entirely transactional.
for the bucket, as they have changed and evolved over the years.
I know that. The bucket isn't keeping this from me. I know that because that's all my relationships with anybody. I'm just a transaction on someone's passing transaction sheet.
Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all.
Okay.
Here we go. There. Now it's settled. No more debate, no more discussion.
Where's my badge?
Take our hike, broom closet, with all your meandering philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things.
Snow sweep. How dare you, Ed?
All right,
you
I've
could
got
the
a second
bucket's
sticker
feelings.
back here, and I'm going to slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate. You see, I feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket. That way, if you're ever unsure whether the thing you're holding is a bucket or not, you can look down at this sticker and say to yourself, ah, it's a bucket. There really is a wide variety of applications for this sticker.
Oh, you could hurt the bucket's feelings. That is true. That is true. A lot of people that I know don't seem to...
I could take the name calling and the dismissal of your
mate, Mammon, Mammon,
giving us the silent treatment.
Mammon,
Honest,
Demon
I'm
Lord
sick of
Mammon.
the pettiness on display. You can stay here all you like, but I've had it with this impetulant room of cleaning supplies. Easily the most childish such room I've ever been in. I'll see you outside, and we can get on with the story about you and your bucket.
Right, what I was saying was, you are absolutely right, though. Quite a lot of people don't seem to take it very well, like, how calm I am with just being a passing transaction in someone's life. I don't get, like, I don't get why that's a problem. Because, like, yeah, I get it, but you're not as anywhere near as stealthy as you think you are, but that's okay. I still choose to be here. Just weird, man. People are weird. And buckets are weird. And the bucket has reflections from the light. That's actually really cool. That's cool as fuck. And yes, Dark Eyes. No, I'm not a World of Warcraft troll with "Do not interrupt me, Mimon." No, absolutely not. I choose that it was indeed the Demon Lord Mammon trying to interrupt us. Oh. Oh, hello. That's a new pause screen. Hello. Well, I did say that I'd grab the bucket and then we'd close this off and switch over. So, allow us to switch over. I think people may take that as an oversimplification of a relationship. Well, I mean, it's only an oversimplification because they have fallen for their own line that it's more meaningful. That, oh yeah, I mean so much to them. That isn't true. It's never true, and it can't be true because I am not worth enough to mean enough. I know that. It's just they've fallen for their own line. So occasionally a dose of reality don't go down well with people, sadly. Let's see. Quit to menu. Yes. Good night, Canthy. Sleep well, dear. Yes, Leopard, that is fucking perfect. It is an oversimplification of an overcomplication. Of an overcomplication, rather. So yes, like, if you are making it more complicated and then I make it simple again, I don't get why I don't get why that's a problem. How you can spend years saying to someone that you appreciate honesty and just straightforwardness and all this stuff, and then when I'm just honest and straightforward about, like, yeah, I know what you're doing, I know none of this is real and whatnot, that is still okay with me though, I still choose to be here, then they get the hump because they've been caught. And that's like, how dare you interrupt my overcomplication? You've done it to me now, Leopard. Now I'm stuck saying overcomplication. You've overcomplicated the word overcomplicated. Fucking brilliant. Okay. I'm gonna end the stream there, and then I'm gonna restart it again once it's switched over to